Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to talk about why is it hard sometimes for people who are graduating in STEM fields to find a job. Uh, it's kind of something that kind of makes no sense because it's one of the like anything related to STEM, like if you're a physician or a mathematician, or well, maybe not mathematician, but if you're something related with engineering or something like that, your skills are usually very highly desirable. So it's kind of weird that like a lot of people who graduate from these fields are having a hard time finding a job. And I kind of want to talk about this a little bit in here, and what my thoughts are and why I think this happens. How can you like be be more desirable to to employers, to potential employers. So basically, how you could get a job and not fall into these categories. Now, a bunch of the reasons that I can think of. The first one is that usually you need to pay more to people in STEM fields, and a lot of small companies, especially, they don't have that kind of money. Because I remember I got a bunch of job offers when I was job hunting, but some of they were lowballing me. They were like, "Oh, we can pay you this." I don't know, like a very low salary compared to like the expected entry level salary for an engineer. They basically expect to pay you as if you were like a professor, or a teacher, or some other type of degree like a graphic designer. Which is not to talk anything bad about graphic designers or anything like that, but just the skills required are different, and usually the average salary for an engineer is way higher because of what they know, right? Or for a physician or mathematician, it's something that requires you to actually be thinking a lot, and like to actually be developing formulas, and like just think outside the box and constantly learning, while a lot of these jobs like teaching, you learn like the syllabus, and that's everything you're going to be teaching like for the rest of your life or something like that. uh, it's something totally fine. But in engineering, you're like constantly learning, constantly being challenged by different things. So that's why the entry level is a little higher, and a lot of small companies, they don't have the money to pay for that. So you can get a job, but you will be getting paid very little money for what you know. That's one of the reasons, right? The other reason I can think about why like a lot of people in STEM don't have uh, they have a hard time finding a job is because of experience. I mean, I'm gonna talk about me personally. Like, I went into a civil engineering program, but I always want to do structures. But in civil engineering, they teach you a very broad field of things. Like they teach you about water treatment, they teach you about transportation, about payments, about structures. They teach you about a lot of things. That's fine and everything, but structural firms, they are specifically looking for people who graduated in structural. So I didn't have a lot of experience in that, and a lot of things that like fellow structural engineers, well, not fellow because I'm not a structural engineer, but structural engineers knew that it was common sense for me. For me, it was not, and that is the true for all careers. Like for example, a lot of times the reason they are not hiring a lot of entry level is because they are looking for somebody that has like internship experience, or they have like they had a job in doing that, or maybe they basically that they have more experience and they know the field. Like for example, the work you do at work is totally different than school work. It's just way more professional. There's a lot of terminology that you don't never encounter when you're in school. Sorry for the background noise. There's like something. Um, it's a lot of things that you never encounter at work. And like a lot of times, employers, they don't want to take the time to train you. They just want somebody that already knows this stuff. So they usually go with someone that has a little more experience, maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years, instead of entry level. So my recommendation for you is just if you're in college, try to get internships, try to try to get like maybe a side job like with something related to what you're going to be doing once you graduate. And if you already graduated, one thing that you can do is like I'm sorry, but maybe take a pay cut just to grab some experience. Like basically, instead of getting paid like whatever your average in your state is, like I think like 55 or 50 for average for an entry level engineer, maybe I don't know, take 40 or 45, because you're going to be getting experience that like near in the future for another position or even within that position, you can ask for more money because you will already have that experience. I mean, I know it kind of sucks, but that's just how life is. That's the second thing that I think, the second reason why I think a lot of engineers that are graduating are not finding jobs. The third one, and that is something that I see a lot here in the area where I live, uh, people are not willing to move. What I mean is there's a lot of work for engineering, but a lot of times you need to go and look for it, you know? Like in this area where I'm living right now, most of the work is basically payments, civil, kind of like construction, but more like mixes and form work and stuff like that. There's usually in here in this area, I'm talking about my experience, there's not a lot of like structural work here. A lot of people that want to do structure, they don't find work and they complain that they cannot find a job. But it's like you're in an area where there's almost no structural work. If you want structural work, you need to move. You need to search for the work, you know? I mean, there's areas where there's like if you want to do forensics, Miami has a lot of forensics because of the hurricanes and stuff like that. You want to do seismic, California or all those areas, or even overseas. I mean, Germany, New Zealand, I don't know, all these countries, Canada, they hire engineers a lot, especially if you know more languages, if you have other type of education, especially from the US, they hire you and usually the salaries are very competitive. So that is something that I always say a lot. I mean, if you have kids and you have a wife, it might be a little prohibitive to be moving around all the time. But if you're single or like, I mean, if you are young, like there's no excuse to not move besides like, oh, I want to be with my mommy, which I mean is a valid reason, but I mean you're an adult and you need to be facing challenges as an engineer every day in your life. You need to put yourself out there. That's the third reason why I think it's very hard for engineers who just graduated or like people in STEM to find a job. Now, I'm gonna talk more specifically about other fields. Like some of these fields are super specific. So, for example, for mathematicians, it's very hard to find STEM. It's very hard to find a job as a mathematician. Most of the friends that I know that are mathematicians, they teach at college or they teach at high school because it's very hard to find work as a mathematician. The same with physicists, or maybe I don't know about chemistry or biology, but I would presume it's kind of hard too. So a lot of these people, you see them working as teachers, which I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But personally, this is what I think. I think if you study like, I mean, for math, like there's like a lot of really hard math, like differential equations, discrete math, and all that crap that is like mind-boggling. If I studied math, I wouldn't want to be teaching at school. And personally, that's one reason I didn't go to math because that was one of